In a world overrun with an infinite amount of multiverses, originating from a plethora of sources, four longtime friends band together to try to make sense of it all and present it to an audience in an easy-to-digest podcast. This is Geeking Off the Page.
Greetings, geeks. I'm Mike Kitchen, and I like Trevor's shirt. You will now be my rival.
Hey everybody, it's me, Trevor. I just finished a Taekwondo tournament. I'm not sore, but I am tired.
And I'm Gavin Burbage. I'm probably going to drool on myself.
I'm Troy, and it's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything. So I want to thank everyone for joining us for this particular episode of Geeking Off the Page. It is our 23rd go-around at this attempt to make an entertaining and informative, more of an entertaining than an informative sort of podcast about.
I like an attempt.
Yeah, an attempt, yes. For the world of pop culture and how it pertains to us. We are a collective of friends that have known each other for going over 25 years now into the past. And basically, we have just brought it up to the modern day, our sitting around in the middle of our college days, talking about the latest comic books, the latest movies, the latest TV shows and whatnot. And we're just doing it here in this particular format. So like every single episode, we are going to be starting with our coming attractions. So we have quite an actual boatload of trailers and previews and behind the scenes stuff coming at us because if you're not aware, this is we're actually recording on the 16th of October in 2021, and that is basically the day that they released the DC Fandome on YouTube, and it basically over the next however long, they've basically released all their trailers, all their making ofs, all their behind the scenes stuff for everything that DC has, from their comic books to their TV shows to their movies. And for the most part, we're going to cover a bunch of the movies because it's a lot of stuff that we've been talking about recently. And we've just had tiny little bits and pieces. And there's some stuff that we actually have been speculating about and they're coming in. Now, the TV series, I don't think we're going to go much into the TV series because there's still a ways to go. And to get into the comic books now, I think is probably the wrong thing for us to do. If we wanted to do comic books, we would have started from the beginning talking about the actual physical comic books. So we talk about everything that springs from the comic books. So we're going to start with the actual other trailers that are not DC related. And we're going to talk about the final trailer for Dune. And this one here is basically showing off a lot more of what this movie is going to look like. The cool thing is there's not a lot of rehashed sequences from the previous trailers. There is some because it's not a whole entire 2.5 minutes of new footage, but we are given a lot more insight. We see a lot more of the design of this movie, which was a fascinating thing to see because in the previous trailers, I thought, ooh, this is fantastic. But we're seeing even more stuff of it, which is kind of cool to see. I mean, we see a lot more detail of the characters, a lot more progression of the characters. We see a lot more of the effects, which is kind of neat. And the story is fleshed out a little more. If you piece all the pieces together, you get some sort of nice little story culminating. So this is being released both theatrically and on HBO Max on October 22nd. And I just want to quote in the trailer, if you look near the end of it, about 3/4 of the way through it, one of the magazines has actually put up their, one of the websites has actually put up their quote of, the recommendation of the quotes. And the quote says, "The next Star Wars, Lord of the Rings is here." And it's like, really? Okay, off of one movie, you're going to say that? All right. But that also brings up the fact that we know that the director wants to make a second movie. We know that
he has to make one because he's only doing half the book.
Yes, because apparently he is only doing half the book. So basically that's what we're counting on, that this is a successful movie. So people go see this movie, or hopefully enough people sign up for HBO Max just because of Dune. And then we'll eventually get a sequel. So what do you guys think of this? What we have so far of this trailer, or what? I mean, I know in the past we've said we all want to see this movie. We're fans of the series. We're fans of the universe itself. But is there anything changed with you guys with watching this trailer?
I'm still gonna watch it. There's no doubt in my mind. I like that they didn't have any new scenes. They just kind of let the scenes play out a little longer.
That's true. You're right. You are right. Now that I'm reflecting on what I'd seen, seems to be the scenes are padded a little more than they were. Nothing brand new.
And I do like. I mean, I've read the Dune series many times, and I didn't like the fact that in Lynch's version he kind of glossed over some of the equipment, whereas in this one they have the ornithopters, basically like insect-like aircraft, and it's funny. It's almost like they pulled it right out of the Dune video game that came out like back in like 2000, because they had the ornithopters, and these look shockingly like those, which were pretty much designed well from the book. Like they really followed the books more than the movie. So seeing stuff like that is, it makes me want to watch it more. So,
yeah.
This Friday I'll definitely watch it on HBO, and this feels like a movie you want to see on the big screen. So if I can manage it, I will see it on the big screen as well.
And again, it says that it was filmed for IMAX. So
I don't know. My TV is pretty big. It's
yeah. If you stand close enough, any screen is an IMAX.
65 inches. I mean, come on. So it's
okay.
So
fine.
It's pretty big, and I got nice surround sound. So
yeah. But still, there's that going to the theater. Like, I mean, here again, still with this pandemic starting to wean itself off, the theaters are still not at full capacity. They're still selling at, I think we're at 75 or 80% capacity for the theaters. Every other row is shut off. You can't, if you select your seat, you can't select two seats on either side of that sort of thing. But so it's still an interesting thing to be doing. So yeah. What do you think, Mike? Are you, I mean, I know when it comes to you, Mike, it's a huge deal to go to the movies.
Well, especially now with Ontario wanting vaccine passport stuff.
Yeah.
Because, not to get too conspiracy theory, but I'm not playing that game just for moral reasons. So I have mixed feelings with this trailer. Part of it is because we've been teased for 2 years now, and I've been so excited for 2 years now. And it doesn't look like I'll be able to see this with the big IMAX experience. So it's just kind of like, I've kind of seen this already. I've seen this before because I've read the books. I've been so hyped for it. I've wanted to see it so badly, and it's taken so long. And I probably won't even get the big family experience in IMAX and 3D and the whole thing, right? So if this is just something we watch on our TV at home, it's like, oh, what a letdown. 2 years anticipation just for that.
Right.
Now, all that said, I'm still excited to see it. The more I see of the clips that are revealed in the trailers, the more I'm thinking they're sticking pretty closely to the books. That makes me happy. There's some funny stuff like with Harkonnens with no hair. Like, where's the red hair? Like, I wish they would at least give him red eyebrows or something.
Oh wow! I just realized that. You're right. There's no red hair.
Right, and that's.
I mean, they overdid.
They
overdid. Yeah, I mean, they overdid it with friggin' the Ronald McDonald hair color.
Yeah.
In the Lynch version, but it was a Technicolor Dream, which David Lynch did. But you're right. I completely forgot. Yeah, he does actually have. It is red hair. It is an iconic thing. You're right.
Right, but even the fact that you forgot tells you how well they've done these designs.
Yeah.
Where you can kind of go, okay, a bunch of creepy white bald dudes. Well, all right. They still look kind of cool.
Well, we haven't seen the rest of the family sort of thing. So there still is that. We've only really seen, we haven't seen Baron Vladimir really close up that much. and we've just seen his nephew Rabbit Man. So
Yeah. And then the more I watch these trailers too, and again, after having read the books and really studied the Dune universe, is it really shows that it's the first half of the book. Even to the point where someone's riding on the worm, that can't be Paul riding the worm. That's got to be the first riders that he sees in the distance. At least that would be my prediction. I'm guessing they probably stop it before he goes through the full training. That's my prediction. If I'm wrong, I owe you a Coke.
I'm gonna say he's gonna stop it just after he takes the water of life.
I would think it would be around there as well.
The other side, and then bam, stop it right there.
Yeah, that sounds pretty. That's pretty much almost halfway too, isn't it? Like just.
Yeah, because from that point on, it's him uniting the Fremen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's a whole new storyline that builds up from there. So yeah, that would be the crescendo of the midpoint of the story. So that sounds about.
No, when does that? Okay, that happens before the break in the book, right? Because the first book is essentially 2 books, because there's a 2-year gap. Because that's where I'm thinking. Is this you do the water first and then the gap?
It's I can't remember. Because he takes over the Fremen at that point, but they don't let him take over until after he's matured into his full power, and that gap is him training the Fremen, because it's not like a weekend course teaching them how to use the sonic devices.
I would hope not.
So yeah, they have that gap there where he's training his army and they're doing the hit and run, guerrilla tactics against the Harkonnens, and then finally stepping it up to the point where he's secure enough that, all right, now we can take them down. Now we can give them a fight.
Yeah. So watching these trailers, that's the other thing that kind of sinks my spirits, because I know they haven't actually made the second movie yet. And so that this is the first half of a movie that we've waited this long for. Theaters are shut down for the most part, and the next movie's not made. It's like, oh my God, I hope we see the second one of this, because if we don't, it'll be such a letdown. But I'm hoping.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the budget of this one? Like almost 200 million, 175.
Yeah. And again, it's a casualty of COVID. It just unfortunately.
I know it's already made over 100 million internationally.
Yes, it has been released already. Yes, yeah.
So it's already made, at least I think they were saying like it's made like almost 60% of its budget back.
And there's already rumblings that the next one's greenlit.
Yeah. So
whereas before a couple weeks ago, there's no word on that. It's like, don't you dare give us half a movie.
Yeah. I'm just reading. Sequels have not yet been officially greenlit by Legendary. So, yeah.
There's rumblings of it. They're talking about it.
Yeah. Well, and again, it all depends on like what it does. I'm pretty sure it's more of the box office than HBO Max, because HBO Max doesn't actually translate into actual money as much as box office does. And again,
yeah.
All right, so the next thing we have up on our docket is a nice little PSA by the Deep from The Boys about cleaning up the water. And it's basically a fun little, like I said, PSA about Deep becoming an ambassador from Liquid Death, a company that is basically trying to clean up the plastic pollution in the seas. And it's got all the humor of what we've seen from The Boys, and the fact that it's the Deep as well, as that character is the character that the Deep is. It's just funny to see it. He's got the right intention. He has the idea that he wants to do good. It's poorly executed. I mean, setting fire to all the plastic they've collected. It's a brilliant thing. Now there's not much more.
They got it out of the water.
Yeah, no. They got
the
it out of the
water is
water,
safe.
yeah.
Scientists and most of the dolphins I've talked to.
Most of the dolphins, I was just about to say, because when he says scientists and most of the dolphins I've talked to, it's just like, there's a fascinating, an innocence with that character, but that character is so wrong I mean,
Oh yeah,
it
it
is.
burns when I breathe.
Yeah. And as he's finishing up the PSA, they don't edit anything. He's still coughing. He coughs his lines through it and all that because he's inhaling all this toxic
Yeah, and it just
smoke.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. But it turns out it's just an advertisement for on Amazon Plus. You can watch season 1 and 2 of The Boys, so that we don't have any sort of yet information of when The Boys season 3 is being released. We do know that in July they wrapped up season 3, so and they've been greenlit for a season 4. So plus there's also a new spin-off series that I believe they're going to be working on now, which I believe entitles it's basically a college for superheroes to come together. So apparently it's going to be even raunchier than The Boys itself, apparently, because now you're going to have all these hormonal superhero characters trying to learn how to be superheroes.
Is that going to be based on a Garth Ennis comic as well?
I have no idea. I just know it might be something out of what's his face, the guy that is basically the executive producer, creator of this. Crikey, who also did Supernatural and all that sort of thing. So I think it might be his idea, but again, I don't know what it is. I just know that that's the idea of what it is. I can't even remember what the actual series is being called. But anyways,
one thing I'll say about The Boys trailer here with the Deep,
yes,
better Aquaman costume than in Justice League. It's amazing.
I mean,
it's practical.
It has scales.
Yeah, I know we're about to talk about the DC Fandome, but I've said this many times. They just really got to stop. The live action films are just like it's two things. It's the people doing the design work that's and more importantly the people who are approving it. That's the part that
yeah.
Just if my experience in Hollywood is any indication, the people that are approving it are probably the ones giving comments on it to get it to this final point that we're seeing on screen for a lot of this stuff. I
mean, shows I've worked on, and you get these producers that they put these comments, and they're just sounding off so that people realize they're still alive to justify the paycheck they're getting. Yep. But you look at the comment and you're like, what? Like I remember working on Rescue Heroes, and one of the designers, like they just again said the boots, talked about the boots. It was like a huge comment section about the boots, and the design being submitted was for the backpack. The boots were pre-approved. It was just a trace off to show the backpack, how it sits on the character. But these producers went off about the boots for like pages upon pages. And I was just like, what the hell? What the hell? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So so that being said, again, no information of when actually season 3 of The Boys is coming out, but we are definitely looking forward to that.
I still haven't seen the first 2 seasons. I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yes, you are going to have to watch
because I love Garth Ennis, and The Boys was never my favorite comic. I like his serious more than his comedy, but I like his stuff. So yeah, I have to watch that.
And one of the other really, really nice things about The Boys is the Toronto locations. Like seeing that, like, again, visually speaking, the digital effects they do for this show are amazing because they add on so much to what is already there of Toronto. Like there are buildings there that are only so big, but they add so much to it and it's seamless. So it's really cool to know what buildings they're inside of, and then that's not what it looks like on the outside, sort of thing, and extra stuff's added onto it. It's a fascinating thing, and like, hey, I know that back street.
Well, that was like the TVA in Loki, because the moment they were going down the elevator, it's like, I was there. I know I was there. And I was like, what the hell? And then I found out it was like the hotel in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I knew I rode that elevator. Like, this freaking me out.
Alrighty then. So the next thing we're going to move on to is a trailer for a movie coming out January 22nd. To theaters apparently only, and that's Scream 5, or as
Keep
I
on
like
screaming.
What?
Scream 5. Keep on screaming.
Yeah. I was gonna say The Scream Awakens, because this totally looks like a episode 7 version of the Scream franchise. You have your new crew, and then you bring in your old retired characters to try and limp their way through a story involved with a new cast. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of the Scream series, but I don't know if I think it's been too long for this to come out, and this trailer looks like everything you've seen before. There doesn't seem to be any sort of new twist on it, except for the fact that Ghostface seems to be a fan of Sydney's. Mind you, Nev Campbell looks fantastic. And David Arquette looks like crap. But David Arquette has looked like crap for years. I mean, it's nice that also like Courtney Cox is back and whatnot, but obviously those are the only surviving returning characters. But from the trailer again, looks like Dewey only lasts maybe the first quarter of the movie, because he doesn't seem to be in any of his scenes. He doesn't seem to be interacting with anyone other than Ghostface in a hospital. So, but that's just what I'm saying. So he's the Han Solo of this movie.
It's just, oh God.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to rush out to see this. If I'm able to watch it at home, I will. I don't think I will be missing much, because again, it doesn't look, unless they reveal something like within the next month or two, because it's a January release. You never know, you'll get another trailer and like, that seems kind of new. So it might just be that they might put out this trailer that says, hey, look, it's pretty much the same, and then they'll bring out another one that's like, oh, that was different, and that seems new. So hopefully it'll be that, but I'm not really holding out much hope for it.
For me, I mean, the first movie, it was an interesting premise. The two of them working together. So like, oh, it couldn't have been me because I was here with you the whole time when that person got. But the problem I had with the Scream franchise was, in the end, the killer was just a person. Like, there was nothing special about them. It's not like a Jason or a Freddy or a Leatherface or something like that. So,
or a Michael Myers.
I look at Ghostface. If I was, someone calls like, ooh, he's gonna get, and he comes at the window, or especially if he comes rushing at me with some stupid hunting knife, I'm gonna hand his ass to him. I'm gonna stick the knife sideways up him, because honestly, it's just some stupid ass high school kid. I'm sorry, I'm gonna break this guy's limbs and feed him to him. If it was Jason or Freddy or one of those, yeah, I'd probably get my ass handed to me. He's got the whole supernatural thing, but there's nothing supernatural about the killers in these. And it's just people panicking like a bunch of idiots going, oh no, I've been cut. Oh no, I'm gonna flop along on the ground like a fish while they finish me off. It's like, just fucking fight back. Enough already. Ooh, she gets the little cut on thing, and then from that point on, she's the panicky idiot number 4 who's just waiting to be offed. Like, or in the trailer, they have the high school athlete guy running away. Bullshit. If this is just some geeky ass kid in a Halloween costume with a hunting knife, kick his stupid ass and kill him. Just be fucking done with it. And they even have the thing, do you have a gun? Well, I'm Sydney, of course I have a gun. Yeah, and one bullet's going to solve the problem. Done. It's not like you're going to pump this guy full of lead and he's just going to laugh it off because he's actually like half demon or some supernatural in some way. That was my biggest problem with this character of the Ghostface killers. And at the end of the day, it's just a person with no special talents or skills or anything supernatural about them. So I have zero respect for them and zero fear for them. And if I have no fear for them, I'm watching the movie the whole time, just kick his ass. Like, I'm not going, ooh, it's a jump scare. I don't care, because I'm not scared. It's not like Jaws or, again, Freddy or Jason or something you really can't fight back against. That's my opinion on the Scream films. The first movie had an interesting twist on the killer, but not enough for me to be afraid of it.
And for myself, I've never watched any of the Scream movies, because anytime it's a horror movie, I'm like, nah, not really my thing. But listening to the synopsis of that, it reminds me of Hot Fuzz. Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was a twist that I loved in that movie, with these, this killer that keeps popping up and keeps stabbing people. and you can't tell who it is until you realize it's this giant like secret society cult in the town. And I thought that was a great twist.
Yeah.
It's
That
a
was a lot of
twist, but when you figure out it's just a person, then it's like, then the twist. Once you realize what the twist is, then you're like, well, then I have nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, in this case, it was the whole town, right? It's like a secret society in the town. So
yeah, exactly.
Not just like a single person or it's like, no, this is the entire thing. It's the cops. It's the old
it was everybody
folks down the street. Everybody,
all of the elders.
Yeah. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, but that was not Scream.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So
when I saw that this was coming, I was just like, why?
Yeah.
Has he made a pact with the devil? He's now got supernatural powers.
If that is the twist, and it turns out to be supernatural, or it turns out it's friggin' like it's like Skeet Ulrich coming back, or friggin' from the dead, or friggin' Matthew Lillard coming back from the dead, I would totally be like some sort of demonic sort of thing. I would totally, if they turn this into horror,
but the other previous 4 movies, it was just
for sure, it's just a guy in a Hollywood, and it was a copycat. After the first one, it was a copycat. I mean, like, yeah. But again, I like how someone somewhere is selling the friggin' digital files of how to recreate that voice box every single time. So, so the next thing we have on our list, we're gonna go to a little bit of a Disney Plus. And this particular movie is being released on Disney Plus Day, which is going to be November 12th, which is something we're actually looking forward to, because that's when Disney is going to reveal all of the slate for the next year and all that. It's their D23 version that is going to be on Disney Plus, and that is
exactly.
Thank you, Kevin. And that is going to be Home Sweet Home Alone. And speaking of reduxes, I mean, this, wow. Okay. I don't know where to begin with this, because
I just canceled my Disney Plus subscription
because of this.
Just because of this. I saw the trailer and immediately canceled.
Yeah, this I entertain thoughts of canceling Disney Plus. If the girls didn't watch a bunch of shows that are on Disney Plus, I would have been like, you know what, F you, Disney. Like, what? Who greenlit this and thought it would be a great idea?
The same guy who gave the comments on the boots. The boots guy.
God, it was just like, and then they're like, and he's got to have an accent.
Yeah,
that's what Kevin McAllister was missing.
Yeah,
accent.
And what's with the officer showing up with the McAllister name on his badge? Like, what is this a related sort of thing? Is this what Kevin became?
They're just trying to destroy our childhoods.
Yeah, it's just like, we have no good ideas. What movies can we rip off again blatantly?
And piss on them.
Yes, it's just with the script. Zip. Now make it.
Yeah, because again, from seeing this trailer, it basically is the same old. It's the family. It's a giant family, huge house, everyone rushing to get to the airport. The only thing is, they go even further around the world. They're in like Hong Kong, so it'll take even longer. Japan. Sorry, I apologize. I do know the difference between the two. I just misspoke.
They're so getting COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
seriously, who's traveling this Christmas?
Yeah, exactly. That's the other thing too. Who is traveling with that big of a group at this particular Christmas? This has obviously got to have been done a while ago, because it can't all of a sudden drop and then whatever. But then again, with having such a small cast, I mean, it makes sense to do in COVID. You have this kid and 2 bandits, and that's it.
There we go.
And then the mom running around and everything. But again, it looks too similar to what we've already seen. Nothing looks new, nothing looks different, besides the fact that one of the burglars seems to be reluctant to do it. I mean, whatever.
For myself, I don't mind remakes, right? If you can do something and bring something to it, right? Because the old movie's old enough now. It's like, okay, fine, you can do a new one, bring the whole idea back, try and recreate it to something that's relevant. but this is the worst carbon copy I've ever seen. It's, trying to pull out all the stuff that was fun and original, dumbing it down, making it stupid, and there's no joy from the trailer anyway that I'm seeing in this. It's just a horrible imitation copy, like when Disney was doing all the direct to TV movies, like they'd have this big hit, then do or direct to video, direct to VHS release. It's that kind of thing where this epic story, and here's another one on video cassette. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've always been in the camp of, if you're going to remake a movie, pick a bad movie and make it better. Remake it, make it better. Don't take a great movie and try to remake it and then go, why didn't it succeed? Especially when you're like, it's almost like when Gus Van Sant took Psycho, and did a shot for shot recreation, and the question was, why? Why try to take such a classic movie and make it and change nothing and just same thing? This, they're taking a basically a classic movie, like, we think we can do it better this time. No, the fuck you can't. Just pick a different story. Pick a bad Christmas movie.
I don't even think they thought they could do it better. I think they just
said, Hallmark Channel.
We get paid. All right.
Of bad Christmas movies. Grab one of those.
Yeah.
Remake it better. I mean, they're trying constantly. They've got 4 scripts and 20 actors, and they just churning out 300 movies a year.
All shot in the same house.
Yeah. But it's like when I saw this come up on the feed, it was just like, again, who greenlit this? Was it someone saying, you know what? Fuck it. I'm retiring anyway. I'm gonna greenlit all the shit I can and let Disney just waste a ton of money, and I'm gonna laugh while I'm, in my retirement.
That actually sounds pretty good, Trevor. It could have been someone on the, screw this. Yes, greenlit.
That's another Home Alone. It just sounds like
greenlit. Why the hell?
Let's just screw them over. Just we'll greenlit it and just see how far it goes before I'm out of here.
It's got Bob Iger's name on it. I guess it's good to go.
And I'm like, holy shit! It got made. Whoever did the greenlights is probably killing themselves laughing when they saw this trailer pop up. Like,
exactly, yeah. They're like, really? They made it?
It got this far.
Well, if we have any listeners from inside Disney, let us know if that theory is correct. We want the information. Just leave a comment.
Oh,
yeah. Again, doesn't seem like it's going to be well worth it. So the next thing we have up is something from Blumhouse, which is being released on the 4th of February, which is usually a dead time of the year, but thanks more recently to the Marvel Universe, February actually has been quite a strong month to be releasing your movie out and all that. But what we are going to be seeing is from Blumhouse, which is The Black Phone, which looks to be like to be a fantastic horror story. It's Ethan Hawke playing the bad guy. Looks creepy as hell in this. There is a devil smiling mask involved in this as part of his persona. It's a child abductor who has made a career of abducting kids, and they've just all gone missing. This one particular time that he kidnaps this kid, there's something that happens. Apparently there's 2 things happening, actually. There is a black phone that is totally unplugged in his little cell that this kid's being held in, and it's allowing him to communicate with the previously kidnapped that are now dead kids. And this kid's best friend, who didn't get kidnapped, is out there having visions of the place where her friend is being held. And she's trying to convince the adults out in the real world to follow her like sightings to figure out where he is. And this kid is being basically trained how to escape from this dungeon to take out this. It just looks like such a mind melding sort of twist on anything I've ever seen. Like, you've seen ghost stories, you've seen abduction stories, you've seen survival stories and all that. This just takes it all together, and it just looks, and it's got that Blumhouse feel to it. It's got that.
Okay, school me on this story right now,
Yeah.
because okay, so I'm not the horror guy. We've talked
Yeah.
about this before.
No, yeah.
So normally for horror movies, I try and avoid it.
Mhm.
Now, when you get into the more thriller kind of stuff, like Stranger Things season 1, for example, huge fan of that.
Mhm.
So Blumhouse, where does that fall on the spectrum? Is it like
Blumhouse,
full on horror, or is it more thriller, or is it
Blumhouse. Well, Blumhouse is a collective, and they do a lot of. There is a lot of thriller stuff. There is a lot of horror stuff. There's like slasher stuff. There's abduction stuff. They do a lot of. They do some. But this is also looks like it's set in the mid 70s sort of thing. So it has that feel to it. So it has that film stock even. It looks like it's filmed with an older film stock, which is kind of, obviously it's shot digitally and all that. But again, this looks to be more of a thriller sort of thing with a supernatural element to it.
Yeah. So when you look at this trailer, because I was getting Stranger Things vibes from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
That's one where we were watching with the family. I'm like, I hope this doesn't get too dark. I hope this is going to be mostly family friendly through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I'm guessing this won't be, but
yeah,
still, with stories like this, for me, if there's some sort of moral redemption, like I don't mind the zombies if they're White Walkers and you got the Starks going up against them, right? I don't mind, the Stranger Things upside down Demigorgons when you got a group of great kids that are battling it, right? And who was it? Will. Okay, so when Stranger Things, when you thought Will was dead, I was like, oh no, this is gonna just be a thing where just all the kids get murdered and that's gonna be it.
Yeah.
But the fact he wasn't, the kids come back and happy ending. It's like, okay, for me, those kind of stories resonate with me and I enjoy them.
Yeah.
But just the slasher films where it's just people getting massacred.
Yeah, no, this doesn't look this does not look like this one. Looks like it has a hopeful thing. It's obviously going to be a thriller. It's going to be terror sort of scares and all that.
Yeah.
Like this kid's going to have to go through a crap load of stuff to get to the point. You're going to be like one of the first kids you see, you actually, I think the audience is able to see the ghosts that are communicating with the boy. He only hears their voices, but we see they're in like they look like they're dead. They're reanimated corpses. Like one kid has the side of his face slashed open and all that sort of thing. But obviously the boy does not see them, but the audience is able to see them. And then his friend, who again is having visions, is seeing scary stuff. She's seeing the kids as well as a collective group, and she thinks that she is going to go out on her own to do it. So it's a bit of like an adventure sort of thing for her with a scary parts to it and all that. So it again being set in an era where there are no cell phones. It is a landline that the phone is, but the phone is actually disconnected, but it's still ringing.
It's the scary thing for this generation. It's like,
exactly.
Oh my God, no cell phones?
No cell phones. What?
That's the whole concept of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's a psycho killer. Yeah, but no cell phones.
Yeah. But again, it's one of the few companies that are still relatively new. Blumhouse has been around for a little bit, but they're still on the big scale of things, very still new.
Yeah,
and
they're a smaller company.
Yeah.
But they've been working with some of the bigger names.
Exactly. They do a lot of co-productions with a lot of big names, and they've been able to do a lot of very impressive stuff. And again, it is more towards the genre of like the scary, the horror, the thriller and all that. But again, it looks fantastic. And again, Ethan Hawke as the bad guy. Yeah, the grabber is just brilliant. And the one sequence you see him when he's not got a mask on, he still looks so freaking insane.
He looks like Ethan Hawke, which is pretty creepy.
Yeah, which is pretty creepy. Yeah. Like modern day Ethan Hawke, but back in the 70s. So yeah, but definitely this looks so good. All right, so following that up, we got from Disney Plus some more information about our upcoming Hawkeye series. And we now know that it's going to be obviously 6 parts, which we knew, but we now know that we're actually going to get 2 episodes released on the November 24th, which means its finale will be the week prior to the beginning of Book of Boba Fett. So instead of them both being on the one ending on the same day and the other one starting the same day, they'll be a week apart. So they're not going to cross the streams. But this Hawkeye
Dream.
crossing the streams, yeah. This Hawkeye trailer showed us some more of it. We now are aware of that. The wife is still involved in the storyline, so we actually finally see here with all everyone was speculating. Oh, what's happened between them? We don't actually see the wife in all this, but she has again. It's a little brief thing, but obviously that's how the series is going to go. We see a little more interaction between Clint and what's her name? Yeah. And
just speaking of the wife, before we get too far away from
yes,
that, I wonder if Disney looks at the comments before they make the next trailer. It's like, okay, just put a shot of the wife and just put her in.
It would not, you know what? It would not surprise me because Disney, as of late, has been really good because of that sort of thing. Well, look what they've done to the alterations of what is on their things. I mean, like they've altered, whatchamacallit, WandaVision. The finale of WandaVision has been altered between the time that it was actually originally released and now, just to match what's going to be happening, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that of all companies, they're the ones that have to pay attention to their audience the most because of what they inspire, what do people come
especially
to
MCU.
Disney.
The rest of Disney, who knows what they're doing?
Yeah,
MCU.
well, yeah, exactly.
Attention.
Yeah.
Now, in the trailer, we do see a little bit more of, was it Steve the musical?
Yes, that's right. I forgot about that. Yes.
So I actually, like, when I went through, I actually paused a couple, like the bridge scene during the Battle of New York and Steve the musical, and you have the Incredible Hulk, you have Thor, you have Captain America, everyone's there, and you have someone being Hawkeye in this garishly purple outfit.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the episode to see him in the audience watching this and just kind of like, oh.
Yeah. So again, we have to wait until the 24th of November, but it can't come soon enough because this looks so good. It looks like and again, the more that they're showing us, the more we know what we're going to be expecting. We know it's going to be comedic. We know it's going to be adventurous. It's going to be very short, like again, 6 episodes. So only 5 weeks worth of episodes, seeing we're getting 2 dropped on the same day. And it's going to be a great Christmas Marvel series. I mean,
this is the Home Alone we need.
Exactly. Yes. This is the Home Alone that we need. Hawkeye season 1 is the Home Alone that we need. Hopefully, if there is a season 2, if Clint doesn't get killed by Natasha's sister in this, the second season takes place at Valentine's. An Arrow-related holiday, right? Does that make sense, right?
Yeah. Why not?
All right. And
when did Die Hard 2 take place?
That took place at Christmas time as well.
That was another Christmas.
How could the same
At the
thing
airport.
happen to how can the same thing happen to the same guy 2 years in a row? Was a line from the movie of Die Harder. That's right. Die Hard 2, Die Harder. Yeah. So speaking of Die Hard, the next thing we have up on our list is Apex, a trailer.
Ooh, transition.
Yeah, transition. So Apex is a movie where Bruce Willis is being hunted by rich people, and it's like I said before with the guys before we started recording, it's a tale as old as time. It is pretty much any sort of what did you use as an example, Trevor? You used
The Most Dangerous. It was based off a story of The Most Dangerous Game.
Yeah. And that story has been redone so many times in movie history, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good story. It's a very compelling story. It's sometimes done for very cheap or very cheesy, but
the story itself is public domain now.
Yeah.
So anyone can use it without having to pay any royalties or fees.
Yeah.
But adaptations of it are just, oh God, could they stop already?
This one looks like the technology is way beyond what we have right now. So it's obviously takes place in the future. But again, it's just Bruce Willis, who seems to be a very badass killer to begin with, is being hunted by people who think they can hunt down him because they have the superior technology to take him out. And of course, they won't be able to. And of course, it'll come down to the main guy, Hunter, and Bruce Willis at the end, and Bruce Willis will kill him at the end. So, spoiler alert, that's how the movie's going to end. Yeah, he wins after killing everyone else. He may let one woman or young child go, but that's about it, right?
Just as a side note, this is the 19th time a film has been made on based on this concept.
I am so glad that you looked that up. I am so glad that you had the time to
And
look
if
that
you
up.
wanted to go for TV, it's well over 30 times they've done it on television.
Oh,
Okay,
I'm
list
sure.
some of the
yeah.
movies first, Trevor.
Well, the most recent one was The Hunt in 2020.
Yes. Yeah.
Like they couldn't even wait a couple of years to make it again. Yeah.
Because from the looks of this, because if you've seen the trailer, again, it looks like it is a very COVID shot movie because you don't see more than one person in a frame at a time. People are having conversations and it's just cut from one person to another. There's no multiple people in a single shot sort of thing. It just looks like it's very under strict, like one person on the set at a time sort of thing. But anyways, go on to the list.
Together.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a list of movies and I don't recognize a lot of them as far as the names go. Game of Death, Run for the
Hard
Sun,
Target,
Bloodlust.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, come on.
Oh yeah,
Which one
Target.
was?
There we
Oh,
go.
yeah,
Target.
Hard Target. Yeah.
Surviving the Game with Rutger Hauer and Ice-T. I mean,
That was it. Rutger Hauer. I couldn't remember who
Yeah.
also was in it. Rutger Hauer was in it. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Slave
stop
Girls
making
from
it.
Beyond Infinity.
Sure, why not? But it's just like, why keep?
It's on the list.
Yeah, I know. It's the, it's a story as old as time. Man is the most dangerous prey to hunt. But it's just
Yeah.
like,
I can't
Except
wait for
bears with
Kraven the
machine
Hunter and
guns.
Spider-Man.
yeah.
Then we can do it again.
Yet again. But it's just like, change up the story a little bit, at least somehow. But yeah, they didn't even do that. Like, it's just, we threw a future twist on it, and that's as far as they went.
Yeah.
It's in the future. Anything else? No, we're good.
They always happen to pick the wrong guy to go on the
They
hunt.
always do. They always pick the wrong fucking guy. They're like, let's see. We can pick the accountant. We can pick a tax actuator. Oh, look, we can pick the high school math teacher. No. How about we pick the ex-special forces
Played by
Green
Bruce
Beret,
Willis.
who just happens to be working at a gas station, who just happens to, it's just like, oh God, guys, really? But I guess the other movies wouldn't be excited. They're like, hey, look, we got the chemistry teacher. Movie's over. Roll credits. They always have to pick the guy with like the special forces or X something or other who just
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I believe this one has like a criminal record or something like that. Bruce Willis has some sort of criminal record.
Don't they always?
I didn't take a second pass at it, hence the fact that I actually don't know when this movie is actually being released.
If they did the chemistry teacher and it was Walter White, that would be a good movie.
Maybe, yeah. But it's just like, oh God, guys, just enough already.
Alrighty then. So
Trevor says enough. All right.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good with Bruce Willis's latest because Bruce Willis lately has not been doing a lot of. He's been doing
Comes
a
out
lot of.
November 12th.
Oh, really?
Yes, it does. Release date's November 12th. I
Actually was looking to see if it was
Wow.
one of these direct to subscription, like Amazon, HBO, Disney, something.
Yeah, see, that's the
But
thing.
it's
I don't remember
theatrical,
seeing that,
right?
but it's a theatrical. It looks like it's a
Yeah.
theatrical.
And it was shot
Really?
in Victoria, BC. So
Well, I guess if you're gonna do, I mean, okay, over COVID, they've been doing really well with their production. All the BC sort of work out there has been really stringent and very good with, because all of the WB shows are shot there and they're all well into their newest
Yeah.
seasons because they were able to use the filming property. So I mean, BC is always a great place to do that sort of thing, and because the movie takes place on an island, of course you just shoot in the middle of the forest in BC and you're good. Like you're
hey.
wow. Okay. All right. Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing that on home video soon. So anyways, so that's pretty much wraps up the regular feed of our coming attractions, but we got DC Fandome to deal with. Again, like I said at the top of the show, it's their annual sort of, hey, here's what we're doing for everything DC. And again, it covers everything. It covers comic books, it covers their television, it covers their merchandising. And one of the big things is, which is pertains to what we normally do here, is a lot of their movies. But to start off with, we're going to go with the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. So we got a full story trailer for this, which is like a 4-minute basically trailer for Kill the Justice League. What we've seen before is just a tiny little clip and all that, some video game, not even some in-game play, because that's part of the game. And this is being released by Rocksteady in 2022. So again, no actual hardened, but it's a video game. You never know. They'll give you a year. They'll never give you an actual date unless it's like a month away from that date, sort of thing. But did you guys happen to watch this particular trailer?
I haven't watched the trailer, but I've seen the previous stuff about it, and it's basically the Suicide Squad suddenly being told they have to kill off the Justice League.
Yeah, because the whole entire Justice League has become possessed by an alien invaders, and this is apparently, according to this, the team of Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark are the first Suicide Squad team, or sorry, Team X squad to actually survive getting into Metropolis. So apparently this has been tried time and time again. And in the game, you're playing one of the 4 characters. Obviously, you're going to trade off between the characters. You might use them as, I don't know, the gameplay and all that. But again, it just looks really cool because, again, this is a trailer. So this is cutscene quality footage and whatnot. Whether or not it's how well the gameplay is going to be doesn't really matter, because it's an entertaining trailer as it is. It's got the humor that it does. You're introduced to known characters and whatnot. There's a sequence where you're friggin' well taking down a friggin' black veined face Superman, and you're shooting like guns at Wonder Woman and whatnot, and you're shocking the hell out of Penguin and all. And it's just a fun looking game. I mean, it's got look, I'm sold because it's got Tara Strong as Harley Quinn. So anytime Tara Strong is involved with Harley Quinn, count me in. I'm not the biggest video game player, but you know what? I might give this a try if it's available to me to play and all that. And it just looks like, again, it's just a trailer. We have no gameplay. We don't know what the actual game is going to be like, but it's Rocksteady. They've done really good with the DC in the past, and DC has done pretty solid showings with their video game properties, which is a good thing. All right. So now we're going to move into the actual media of our media. And we're going to start with Peacemaker, which is being released. We now actually, a week later, we now actually have a definitive date on January 13th. The series is going to start on HBO Max, and it's going to be a weekly show. We are given basically a trailer preview, and we are given a lot more of the backstory, which is what we had suspected would happen. Last time we just had a single scene. Now we actually have a little more of what this story is actually about, and it looks like it's going to be one hell of a ride. It's got everything we hoped. Dude, to end this trailer on a getting hugged by an eagle is just Robert Patrick as his father, with it just was a fantastic reveal and all that. That was just the T-1000 as Peacemaker's father. Yes, exactly. That would explain why the chrome helmet. We are now aware that the team that was working with Wallace isn't working with Wallace right now. They're working with another team, but it's a couple of the people that were working for Wallace are still part of this team and all that.
And it picks up right after Suicide Squad, where he's in the hospital, because there's a sequence where he's in the hospital and trying to get out.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to convince a guy that he's a superhero, and like, no, there's no superhero named Peacemaker and all that. But it looks like it's going to be a bit of a almost like a coming of age sort of storyline for this Peacemaker character, because apparently he now has to learn how to work with a team. He's worked by himself. I love how Vigilante is in this, and I love how comic book accurate Vigilante looks.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, it's not exact, but I mean, that is
pretty close.
it is pretty damn close. That is like, oh, now who is the character that's in the green outfit that's fighting Peacemaker? I wasn't able
Isn't
to
that
figure out.
Detachable Kid? Oh no, is
No, I thought
Detachable
it,
Kid was in
yeah, that was Nathan
there
Fillion
somewhere.
in Suicide Squad, but it's not Nathan Fillion in the trailer and all that.
when I saw the green suit, I thought it was Detachable
I thought it
Kid.
was too, but that definitely wasn't Nathan Fillion that he was fighting.
No, that
So,
wasn't.
but again, it's DC, and there's a lot of those. I know, of course, it's friggin' James Gunn, so he'll pull out characters from any old place and like, no, they're part of the DC universe. I'm like, really? We've never heard of these people before. I mean, like Weasel.
Yeah.
Did anyone know about Weasel until Suicide Squad?
Not
You know,
really.
one of the surviving members of the Suicide
Okay,
Squad.
speaking of that, hands up who thought that Peacemaker was going to die? Who picked him as part of the Deadpool?
I did.
I did not, because
I think I did.
because
Did I?
yeah, you did. You and
I
Gavin
know some
did.
people did.
Yeah, you and Gavin both did. I only didn't because I was pretty sure that the Peacemaker series was going to take place after the Suicide Squad. That's the only reason why I did not say. But when he got killed off, I'm like, oh crap, he didn't. And then final scene, I'm like, yes, I get him one back.
I was just like, there's no way they can kill John Cena. Like, the character looks too good. Like, how
Yeah.
can you possibly? Then, yeah, they killed him. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay, James, all right, thanks. But and then that final scene, I'm like, yes, all right. So this is a sequel.
I got
series.
one more point back.
Yeah. But Weasel coming too. Weasel
then
coming
Weasel-
too. I'm like, damn, I lost
Yeah.
one.
Damn it. what's the-
Yeah, same.
So if anyone's just wondering, we did an actual Deadpool at the time that the Suicide Squad was coming out, and we marked off who we thought were going to die, who we thought were going to live, and then we did all a point system for you get a point for someone that you got correct, you didn't get a point for someone you got wrong, and I won by 1 point. So I just happened to eke out everyone by 1 point. Mike, I think, was in second place behind me, and then I think Gavin was at the bottom or something like that. Because Mike picked pretty much everybody, and that
I came pretty damn close.
And then you came pretty damn close to actually getting them all right. Yeah.
If only Weasel didn't come back alive.
You know what? If we'll see, because you and
But
me had
you
the same
picked that one
choice
too.
for. Yeah, you had the same choice for me, even Weasel. So we would have still been in the same position. Anyways, but this Peacemaker looks so good. It looks like it's got James Gunn's humor in it. There's a sequence where friggin' John Cena's running, dancing around in his tighty whities, and then gets beaten up by a woman in his house or wherever he's staying right now.
Yeah.
It just looks. I cannot.
I was trying
wait for
to
this.
pinpoint what character that was. I could not figure it out. Like,
Yeah, well,
so if anybody
some
knows who
sort of
that
super
character
strong.
in the pink underwear is,
Yeah.
let us know.
We're just gonna have to wait. We'll wait.
Oh
And
yeah,
see.
no, it'll be, yeah, it's not like it's going to be like some sort of secret sort of thing, but no, we'll eventually get around to. But again, it looks like friggin', and it's going to be raunchy too, which is good.
Well, it
as
looks
well.
like so much fun. And then again,
Yeah.
this is sort of like the thing that DC has trouble with the movies. I mean, luckily with James Gunn, he's bringing some of the spirit and heart and soul and intellect and all of the fun stuff that makes
Mhm.
movies great into the DC universe. But to see something like this coming out as a television series, like maybe inject some more of that into your actual theatrical releases, because this
Yeah.
looks like so much fun.
Everyone working in their live action film and like Warner Brothers just needs to say, tell you what, you guys are all fired, and we're handing the reins over to the animated guys and let them make the movies because they're just better storytellers.
Yeah, we'll keep on James Gunn. He's been doing
Yeah,
pretty good.
It was shocking, like, when they and then, you look at the list of all their animated movies versus all their live action movies, you're like, these guys are doing it in less time and better stories. Why are you guys effing up so much? Like, stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Obviously these animated guys are doing it really well. Figure out what they're doing and do that.
Now, here's an interesting thing in the world of comic books. Garth Ennis is set to write the Peacemaker series for DC Comics. So the Garth Ennis that brought us The Boys, brought us Punisher Max.
Yeah.
He's going over to DC to do some Peacemaker.
Ooh.
And I cannot wait for that. That's definitely one comic that's in my pull list at this point.
That sounds cool.
So that's
actually
looking
sounds
at
really
2022. Cool. Yeah.
So next year then. All right, cool. You think it's going to coincide with the series? Does it say early or
maybe it will?
Yeah. That would be a fantastic thing then.
In fact, one thing saying it's a one shot. I thought it was going to be a series.
Oh, okay.
So it probably is going to coincide then.
Okay, excellent. So something to look forward to also in January then, right? Cool. All right. So next up on our list, now again, these are just randomly picked. I just happened to be going through to see, because I did not sit through personally the whole entire presentation. I did not have the whole entire day to sit in front of my computer and watch YouTube and have all the DC stuff. So
Troy.
Okay, did you do it, Mike? Did you have the time to do it?
No.
Exactly. So there. Well, I noticed Gavin had nothing to do with this either. So
yeah, Kevin didn't even show up for the podcast. Where are you, Kevin?
Where are you, Kev? Come on.
Come on, Kev. Where are you, Kevin? All right. So next we're going to talk about Black Adam. Now, this is something that has actually been in the works forever. And we do know that one thing about it since the get-go, that The Rock has been involved. Yes. Dwayne Johnson has been a forward pusher of this series since the get-go. And from
he's been working out for it.
He's been, yes. Yeah, because that's what The Rock needs to do, is to work out for a role. Yeah, work out for a role. Wow, that guy is just huge. I watched some footage of him as Rocky Maivia when he first came into the WWE, and he was a big guy. I mean, he was still a kid. He was still in his 20s, but he was a big guy, but he was not defined. He was bulky. He was strong, but what he is now is like some sort of action figure. He is a classic He-Man action figure is what The Rock is right now, but a hell of a lot more entertaining and a crap load more flexible. But anyways, in this particular, this is basically a little bit of a teaser. This is a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff. This is a little bit of an introduction. It starts off with basically we're introduced to a couple of the characters. We are introduced to Hawkman is in this. We're introduced to Cyclone. We're introduced to the Dr. Fate, who is being played by Pierce Brosnan. And oh my gosh, I knew Pierce Brosnan was going to do Dr. Fate. Seeing him in this tiny little thing talking about him being Dr. Fate is just fantastic. He also says that I've worked on 4 James Bond movies over 10 years, and this movie looks and feels so much more spectacular than that. He was in GoldenEye, okay? One of probably the best modern day James Bond movies, GoldenEye. And Pierce Brosnan is saying this is much better than his whole entire run. Mind you, it's what happened to his James Bond is unfortunately, but this looks fantastic. And then we have The Rock doing an introduction of talking about his role in it, how he's worked his fingers down to the bone sort of thing, getting this out to the audience, hoping they have one hell of a fun time. And it's now in post-production, but they give us a scene and we are introduced to obviously the arrival of Black Adam in the modern day sort of thing. We still are seeing a little bit of the concept art that they had for us 2 years ago when they were doing it. But this looks so cool. Now, whether or not, I can't see it not being entertaining. I can't see it not being a spectacular visual. I just hope it doesn't go, the normal route and we end up having some sort of giant CG fight at the end, flying in the sky in the clouds, and there's a giant blue beam. I wouldn't mind that in Shazam 2 if it's pointed out and said, hey, why is there a giant blue light in the middle of this fight sort of thing. That would be something I would love to see in Shazam 2, which we'll get to in a moment. But what little we've seen and what little we've known, but known that it's been worked on all of this time, because The Rock is constantly bringing it up over the past 3-4 years that he's been working on, since he's been contracted to work on this. He is heading this project. He's not directing, he's not writing, he is just there to make sure it gets done because he believes in it so much. And that's what I think needs to be in your main actor. Your main pull to this story has to have that much heart and soul going into this, which we know The Rock has. From other projects that he's done, he's always put his 100% best behind it, and it's always shown. Whether or not the rest of the movie like falls down around him, you always know that The Rock is putting. I see you scratching your chin, and yes, early Rock movies are not, but you gotta admit, for what he's doing, he is doing the best that he can. He has gotten so much better. He is his acting. Have you ever watched him on Ballers? He is fantastic of an actor, and it's not his physical presence that is the actor. It is his acting. It is his character is not the physical presence. He is a huge guy in Ballers, but it's his acting performance that brings his character to life. Of course, the friggin' Tooth Fairy is like a silly, I'm breaking into the industry because I used to be a wrestler sort of movie. And a lot of the people go through that. But the fact that he has gotten himself to this point after 20 years of acting, and which blows me away when I saw that the other day, that he's been acting for 20 years. He is a fantastic actor. And
this guy probably has the biggest hustle in Hollywood. Honestly, if you look at the amount of stuff that he does, the amount that he works out, the amount that he's just involved in all these projects, like kudos to the guy, because he's definitely owning Hollywood. That's awesome.
For sure.
Now, for Black Adam, I'm skeptically excited about this because it's kind of a weird story. Like, where do you go with this? Is he going to be an anti-hero in this? What's the premise of the story? I don't quite get it. And with this teaser trailer, it's just him kind of standing there being bulletproof. And it is a teaser. It's just to get you hyped. It's just to see that it's in production. So I'm not going to, put all of my preconceptions on just this teaser trailer. Although, just seeing The Rock being bulletproof and beating up some dudes is like, meh. Like, I'd like to see a little more. What do you think, Trevor?
I know a lot of the lore of Black Adam, and it's not just, he's never really been like an anti-hero. He's the ruler of a country, and he basically was the original Shazam, but it was a different group that he was getting his powers from, and he pissed off the wizard Shazam, who sent him so far across the universe it took him 5,000 years to fly back. And it's just his whole purpose of being, he's not here to save the day. He has his own agenda, his own loyalties, that he is his own moral compass, that he is his guiding force. And yeah, if it happens that it aligns with what he's doing, you're safe. If whatever you're doing doesn't align with what he's doing, he's a lot more powerful than you are. This is a guy who can fight Superman to a standstill. He's power personified.
So what do you think this story is going to be?
Well, it looks like it looks like we're going to was it Canadar? That's like the DC made up land that Black Adam is from originally, because he was like thousands of years old.
But it's like an Egyptian sort of thing, right?
Yeah. Kandak, that's it. And he was the ruler there, and he fiercely fought other nations to keep his country going. And then when he got his ass thrown across the universe, that place got basically torched. So when he came back, his first thing he was doing was fighting to put it back the way that he thinks it should be. and that of course brought him into conflict with the Justice League and every other Yahoo do-gooder. And it's to me it's very similar to like Namor in Marvel. He's the ruler of Atlantis, and he has an agenda that he puts his people first ahead of the surface dwellers. Well, Black Adam puts his country ahead of everyone else because that's what, for his own countrymen, he will lay down his life if that's what it takes. But he's more than happy to take your life on the way to get to his goal. And to me, that's, it's almost like Mr. Freeze. He's a villain because of his methods, but his goals are actually noble. So
right, yeah.
It's just his methods of getting there kind of questionable. So I can see this movie being about, it's going to be they have to educate the movie going audience who this guy is.
Yeah, that is for sure. Yeah.
Him and Shazam are at odds. So because it's basically two sides of the same coin. So yeah, I can see this being there's going to be a lot of backstory of him, because he fell in love with the goddess of Isis and trying to keep her alive when she gets killed and all this other stuff and yada yada. I don't know how far they're going to go into the mythology, but yeah, he is. So when we saw that initial thing where he gets summoned or awoken or something, and they're firing bullets, and he catches a bullet because he's never seen one.
Yeah.
He's never seen a gun. He's never seen a bullet. So he catches a bullet out of midair and looks at it while they're still shooting at him. He's like, huh, what's this? And then when you see his feet lift off the ground and you see the giant bolt on his chest, and yeah, it's because this is a guy who's, he's in the same weight class as Superman. So I kind of enjoyed seeing that your average human with a gun means nothing to him.
I hope that this movie will hold up. Again, I'm still skeptical that they can hold it together, but I'm really looking forward to when he clashes with Shazam.
Oh,
I am what I'm really looking
whether it's Shazam 3 or Black Adam 2, I am dying to see these two come head. I hope there's a post-credit scene with Zachary Levi and The Rock, just something like being aware of something, being aware of each other.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I am super thrilled for this. I cannot wait.
And speaking of which, that actually segues into the next trailer, and it's not really a trailer, it's more of a behind the scenes thing. And this is for Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods. And again, it's a little more camera on the set while they're shooting stuff. There's a little bit of interview that Zachary Levi is talking about. They're in production now. They've just started production on it. They show all the other Shazam characters, because I can't remember this Shazam family, right? They're a family. So obviously all the kids from the first one are still coming back with all in the costumes and all that. There really isn't much to this at all. It is actually really a short thing. It's kind of neat. Zachary Levi looks excited to be doing this again, because he was such a fantastic job in the first movie that it's fantastic that they're coming back now. It'll be cool to see these older Shazam characters acting like little kids, as Zachary Levi did as well and whatnot. Again, other than the title Fury of the Gods, no really big idea of what the actual story is going to be. I mean,
we kind of have some things. It's because the Rachel Zegler, Helen Mirren, and Lucy Liu are all daughters of Atlas, the god Atlas, or the Titan Atlas.
Right.
So.
Oh, I see what you're getting. I'm. Yes, yes, we know that they're going to be going up against, obviously, because the title Fury of the Gods, they're going up against gods. I just meant, like, are they going to be still in like a metropolitan sort of situation? Are they?
Well, they show that they. In the little teasers, they bounce around to different locations. They go to the Rock of Eternity, the Library of Eternity. But the thing is, one of Shazam's powers, like when you break down, they break down his name. The A, it's like SHA, is the stamina of Atlas. So he's pulling his godly stamina is from Atlas, and obviously the daughters aren't thrilled with that.
All right.
Um,
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, I
and
guess,
think there's
yeah.
going to be a little bit of backstory because they've got what's his name, Digimon Honsu as the original Shazam wizard. Is, he died in the first movie, but he's back in this one, so there's going to be some sort of flashback backstory of some sort.
Gotcha.
I mean, why not?
Probably saying this is where the powers come from. By the by, Atlas is pissed that you're stealing his stamina, or more of his daughters are pissed because you're killing him by using his stamina all the time and splitting it up amongst your whole family. And yeah,
One thing I like about this teaser is it gives me a little bit of a vibe of the Fawcett comics. Like, it's that sort of whimsical, old school kind of comic book flair that we haven't really seen in comic book movies. Like, Marvel kind of rehashed things with Asgard, so that was more of a modern version. And,
Right. Yeah.
even
Then
Wonder
a
Woman,
Kirby version of what Asgard was originally. Yeah.
right? Wonder Woman was its own thing.
yeah,
The
Sarah.
Amazons, but this seems to be getting more into, again, that old school mythology a little bit more. And I hope that what we're seeing in the teaser is accurate to what we see in the movie, because if they do keep with that, because with Shazam, Captain Marvel, one of the old school characters like that, to capture that vibe properly, you really have to go back to the roots on that. And the first movie, it was fun, but to me, it didn't quite capture that old school element of the old comics. Like, it was a little bit silly, it was a little bit goofy, and I still give it a pass. But it looks like they might actually be amping it up in this movie, and if they do, I'm really excited for that.
Well, it feels like they're so the first movie was more like, hey Billy, bam, you're Shazam, and this guy this guy who didn't get to become Shazam instead took all the the demons of sins, and now you got to defeat them. This movie feels like they're like, by the by, here's where your powers come from, and some people aren't happy. And
Well, isn't
to
that
me,
it? Isn't that technically how Billy ended up with the powers and all that? He basically got the powers and then had to find out later on what was actually
where they came from,
and all that. Yeah.
And in essence, fight for the right to use them,
to keep using them. Yeah. Okay. So
because like Zeus was very pissed off that he was stealing Zeus's lightning to use for himself, and he's like, no, that's mine. You don't get to use that. And so he had to prove himself to Zeus for Zeus to finally say, all right, yeah, you can use it. Because when he's using it, Zeus can't. So every time he's Shazam, all the different gods and entities that he's taking the power from are powerless at that moment. So Zeus could be like, he's duking it out and suddenly I'm going to throw a big lightning bolt, and Billy Bats goes Shazam, and he's like, fuck. We put a pin on this fight. I'll be back when he switches back. No, oh shit. So yeah, this is where the problem lays.
Right.
And especially now, like I think even the comic, the first time he did the Shazam family and he split his power amongst his family, but everyone was still, it's not like Shazam it's not like Billy had less power as Shazam. It was just more power was now being pulled from these entities and split amongst more people. So they felt the drain even more severely, which kind of, because they have the Shazam family in this movie, it could be because they're drawing more power. Now there's an accounting to be held, and we're going to see where Shazam's power comes from and that conflict. And to me, that's a great storyline.
Yeah, if they can capture that, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And again, Zachary Levi leading, it's definitely going to be entertaining. That's for sure. All right, so we're going to move on to the next thing, and we got the full practical movie trailer finally for The Batman. And this one reveals a hell of a lot more than we'd ever seen before, and it sort of pulls back on some stuff that we have seen before. Namely, we see Catwoman finally. We get to see more of Oswald fantastically done. I mean, this is like, I don't know how much is going to be prosthetics, but the Penguin looks amazing in this. However, listening to Robert Pattinson speak as Batman, I don't know. I'm still not. I mean, I know none of us are sold on this movie yet. None of us are really looking forward to yet another version of
I'd even go
Batman.
as far as to say as I'm sold out on this.
Really, that's it. You're like out. See, because I mean, who is it playing Penguin? It's. I want to say no, it's not. It is who's playing Penguin in this. Anyways, whatever. Seeing Catwoman on all this looks fantastic because whatnot. And the look of Gotham looks fantastic. It's nice. It's gothic. It's England. I mean, it's shot in England, so I mean, you have a different look than what we've seen before, which is fantastic. It's unfortunately the stumbling block for me is Robert Pattinson. I mean, like prior to this, seeing him standing there all brooding and all that sort of thing, like, okay, yeah, he looks like the Batman part. All right, he looks like a young Batman, an early Batman. No
evil Batman, an evil Bruce Wayne.
Well, I think the coolest thing about this is that we finally know that sparkly vampires can turn into bats.
Yes, they can. Yes, yeah. But so yeah, like I said, I mean, it's nice to finally see an actual sort of thing. It looks like it's finally coming together, sort of thing. But it's not that. I mean, it looks cool. I mean, whatever. It looks really neat, and I'll probably watch it, but I'm not gonna run out to the theaters to see this movie. It's not looking to be like I mean, we see a little more of like we finally get to see what Alfred looks like, which is Andy Serkis and all that. We didn't see Gordon in this, did we?
I don't think
Gordon,
so.
yeah, we didn't see Jeffrey Wright, right? Which is kind of neat to see the Watcher as James Gordon now, which is kind of neat. What is his name? Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell as Oswald Cobblepot. Who again, if he put on that extra weight to do that, or he's wearing prosthetics and all that, he does not look like Colin Farrell, sort of thing. So it's kind of neat, and it's what's his face? Zoe Kravitz. Zoe Kravitz is playing Selena Kyle. That's it. Zoe Kravitz, Lenny Kravitz's daughter, right? So I mean, it's
I
looking.
didn't even know that was Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Yeah, that's the thing. That is the thing. I mean,
first of all, I didn't know it was him, but
yeah,
even worse is I didn't know it was the Penguin.
Oh, really? Doesn't he?
No, I'm looking at it. I'm like,
oh, you're looking at it.
I just thought he was the cop. What's the cop's name?
Bullock.
Bullock, yeah.
Bullock, yeah.
I thought maybe it would be him, but I have such a problem with so many of the casting and character designs in this movie that it just drives me crazy. Like the Riddler, I can't get over that for the Riddler. You know, like, okay, Jim Carrey was too over the top, but he's like a dude with duct tape on his face, and it's just like, what is this? Todd McFarlane released, with his McFarlane Toys, released the action figures during this whole DC Fandome thing. Right. And I'm looking at the action figures of these. I'm like, I don't like any of them. It doesn't appeal to me at all.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate. I mean, the movie looks right. I mean, I don't mind the Batmobile. The Batmobile looks kind of cool.
I actually don't like it.
You don't? You don't like the muscle car as his Batmobile?
It's so blah.
I would have to say, as sad as it sounds, I prefer the Batmobile in the kids' Batwheels show that they teased. That looks more like a Batmobile. The problem I'm having with the Batman movie, which I mean, I think I'm going to be in Mike's camp. I'm sold out. I'm not going to go to the theater to see it. I might see it if it comes on TV. Maybe. The things that are killing it are the emo Bruce Wayne. The fact that, if he's the young Batman, and they have the whole scene where he's taking off his shirt and he had all the scars on his back. So, he's been doing this for a while. But he's in this goddamn, tactical armor suit. The one guy shoots him in the chest, and then he, proceeds to beat up the clown guy.
That part drove me crazy, where he's walking down the hall bulletproof.
And they're just hosing him down with fully automatic, and he's just striding forward and takes the two. I'm like,
that's not the way the Batman works.
Yeah, Batman is not armored head to toe, and he doesn't stride boldly down a hallway. Stealth is his biggest.
Iron Man can do that.
Yeah, stealth is his one of his big, stealth and fear are his main weapons, not an armored goddamn suit.
And intelligence, so
I saw that.
He's the world's greatest detective. A smart guy like that wouldn't walk down the hallway as people
with guys with automatic weapons and just let them unload. Because what if one gets him in the face?
He'd disappear into the shadows and then come at them from a shadow behind them.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that's the Batman I want to see. You'll see the cape thing, like we were talking about before.
Yeah,
this use the cape as a distraction.
This is not for me. This is not Batman. This is just. Them like, let's make a movie about a dark crime fighter who happens to dress like a bat. Is it Batman? No, because he doesn't use the same. It's not him.
Yeah.
If you're going to grab Pattinson because he's a younger actor and can possibly do a series of movies, then you have to have Batman at that same sort of age and same sort of level of experience. Because, Bruce Wayne didn't kick into Batman at age 19. He was traveling the world learning from escape artists and martial artists and, building his repertoire to become the world's greatest crime fighter. Yeah. So he probably didn't get his, year one probably wasn't until he was like in his mid 20s.
Yeah. So when they got rid of Batflick, it was, whereas old Batman, it's like, that's too bad. Because I actually really like Affleck as a Batman.
Yeah.
I thought he did a good job.
I looked forward to that proposed solo movie they were going to do with him.
Yeah.
But now that they're like, okay, we're got a younger guy to play Batman.
And when they said that, this younger guy, it's like, okay, so instead of old Batman, we're going to get young Batman. It's like, okay, I can buy that. Build a franchise around it, but show me young Batman. Show me the spandex, where he doesn't know what he's doing. And then trailer immediately as he's walking down the hall bulletproof. It's like, oh God, get out of here.
Yeah,
I'm done.
It's just, so I'm gonna quickly share a screen here with you.
Is that functional?
Oh, host has disabled participant screen sharing. Host.
Where do I do that?
I don't know. You under
share screen. Yep. I'm seeing share screen. One participant can share at a time. Multiple participants can share simultaneously. Maybe that'll do it.
Yay!
Here we go.
Share.
All right, this is the screen I'm sharing. Do you see it?
Oh, jeez.
That's the Batmobile from Bat. Hold on, but just wait. There's the Batwing. Robin, I guess. Batgirl.
That's cute.
A monster truck of someone.
That's got to be Nightwing.
That's Nightwing.
That's Batman. Yeah. Look at that's Batman.
Yeah, that's the costume.
Look, he's not wearing fucking tactical body armor.
I like the purple. I like the purple under the cape.
He's got a big set of ass-kicking boots so he can stomp you to the ground. He's got the gauntlets. He's got the belt, but he's not
bright yellow
armored.
Belt, so he knows where it is when he's in the darkness. He knows where to reach for the pouch.
He's
that's
not
important.
Armored
and
up,
that's
so
a
that
nice
you guys with fully automatic weapons can go to town on him, and he can just stride. I'm just going to stride.
That's a really
right
nice
forward.
big symbol on his chest too.
Yeah, that's what we should be seeing on the screen.
Yeah,
maybe not that big of a hulking character, but still.
No, but the
thing a little less dad bod, unless it's old Batman.
Look at this jaw on that guy.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, I would rather watch this kiddie show, than this upcoming piece of crap movie.
Well, they definitely got the designs better. I'll give them that.
Dude, DC Hero Pets seems more of an entertaining story than this.
So yeah, I will. Oh, hold on. There's more.
We got more. We got more characters or more.
Robin.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's nice.
That's not Dick Grayson.
No, that's
that's
definitely not Dick
probably
Grayson.
that's probably the son. What's his face?
Damien.
Yeah, Damien. But how can they be producing this and the crap with it? Just yeah. This is what's killing me. Like,
Yeah.
you DC, you know, they're producing this stuff, and then you struggle to produce any quality movie. Like, yeah, I will.
The Suicide Squad aside.
Yeah, I just like, come on, what? How is it you're producing these kiddie shows that have great design and probably a better fucking story, and then you throw this schlock onto the screen and expect people to line, and you know there's going to be the fanboys who are going to line up and, like, you know, and pay their money, and that's fine. That's their choice. But I'm not going to say I'm going to do it because that's my choice, because we've seen so many Batman movies, and it's time and time again they're just like, why can't you get it right? Yeah. You know, how many Batman movies do you have to make until you finally get? I mean, you hit the ball out of the park with Batman the Animated Series. Why can't you use that as a template? Turn it into live action, throw it on the screen, come up with a really good story, you know, good actors, give us something the fans want, and instead they give us the Batman.
Yeah, well, I think the people that are making these movies just don't care about the source material.
Well, Kevin Smith had a very funny quote that Tim Burton said that he'd never watched or never read a Batman comic before he made Batman, and it showed. And it was just a telling comment of, like, you know, you want to make movies, that's great, but if you want to make a movie based off of something, especially something with such a long history, do your due diligence, do your research, and, you know, pull from that material. That it's been around for so long, it's got to be some sort of success somehow. Yeah. So to just say, push all that stuff aside, I'm going to make my own movie, then go make a movie about something entirely different. Don't grab
some other armored vigilante character.
Yeah, like I'm going to make a movie about a super powered alien. That's great. I'm going to call him Superman. Okay, and he's going to wrestle polar bears and walk everywhere.
And he's electrical powered. It's like, oh God, just stop.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that. Like, just if you're not going to utilize that rich history that comes with that character, then go do something else. You're supposed to be some creative film director. Go do something else.
And while we're on the go ahead, finish your thought.
And you know, and then when I see like a trailer like this one, I'm just like, this is some, you know, either the writer or the director or a combination of the two has just said, you know what, we can do it better than this entire history of this character. We can do it better. We know better. Obviously you don't. You know, you don't know what makes, obviously you don't understand, you know, what makes Batman Batman. So having him stride down a hallway while two guys with automatic weapons unload on his tactical bat suit, that's a different character. Put an arc reactor in his chest. There you go.
Yep. So I just wanted to throw this in now while we're talking about Batman, and we have future multiverse stuff coming up. But have you guys ever read Batman Planetary? It's a comic by Warren Ellis and John Cassidy.
No, I don't think so.
I have not.
Okay, so this is a fun comic because
it doesn't even look familiar. So
the characters from the Planetary end up in Gotham, but reality keeps shifting.
Okay.
So they're fighting Batman, and as it gets warped, they're fighting, and there we go. It shifts, and then next thing you know, we have Adam West. So now they're fighting Adam West, and then next thing you know, it turns into Frank Miller.
Okay.
And it just keeps on
so
going.
It's the Batman that keeps changing
the different styles of Batman.
Yeah. It was such a fun comic. So as we were doing and there's the original Batman.
Original Batman with the gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so as we were doing the Defend Your Role, this comic came into mind. And we're talking about all the different things Batman could be.
Right.
But I thought that was a fun comic book because these characters keep warping through different Batman realities and encountering all of them.
And what was it called
So-
again? What was it?
Batman Planetary.
Planetary. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta look that up because
So
that.
Planetary
I'm gonna have to
was
look
one of the Wildstorm comics, like under Jim Lee's
Oh, okay.
umbrella.
Okay. That sounds.
And so
that
this
sounds
is like a crossover comic.
Gotcha. That sounds cool.
Well,
Batman
something
Planetary.
I know of, just on a side note, the people who write for comic books, you're given an established Bible of things you have to adhere to. Certain
Understandable.
Yeah, what's that?
Understandable because of
Yeah. So like certain traits characters have to have, certain things they will and will not do. So like Superman won't kill, Batman doesn't use guns, stuff like that. And you can break those rules, but then you have to, backtrack and say, well, oops. But for the most part, you have to have, there's certain rules you have to follow with that character. Other than that, you have creative freedom, but there's those certain tenets you have to adhere to. And watching some of these trailers for these different movies, be that DC or Marvel, and that they're like, it's almost like they're handed that list and they're like, oh. And it's just like, then you're not dealing with that character anymore. You're just dealing with someone in a Halloween costume of that character doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And that's honestly, I don't want to watch a movie of someone, dressing up like Iron Man and just, doing his own thing. I want to watch Tony Stark. I want to watch Bruce Wayne as Batman. I want to watch, Clark Kent as Superman. I don't want to watch some guy in a Halloween costume living out his own fantasies.
Well put. So to wrap up, we've got two more things to get through, and they're really kind of short to begin with. One is extremely short, and we got not even a behind the scenes sort of thing. It's for Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. And basically it's footage, again, shot on set. It looks like they're still doing dress rehearsal. There's a little bit of costume being done on, and we have both Jason Momoa, who just is Jason Momoa, saying, "Hey, I'm just happy to be here. I'm glad we're doing this again, and here we go, Shaka." And the director saying pretty much the exact same thing, exactly, without like, look, we have another shot at this. This is great. We have a chance to make something bigger. We make something more exciting, and
We made a lot of money the last time, so
yeah,
let's do it
exactly.
again.
Let's do it again. And that's all it is. I mean, there's no reveal. There's a little bit of set stuff. There's not much. It looks like again a bunch of digital stuff and whatnot. And
Black Mantis is back.
yes, exactly. Yeah. Which is good. It's a good thing that
I love the
back.
character design for him.
Yeah, it was one of the most shockingly good things, because Black Mantis could have been horrible, or it could have been what we got in the movie, and it was fantastic that it's what we got in the movie. And the fact that he's coming back, he wasn't like actually killed off, or decided to come back in like a third movie or something like that or whatever. But the fact that he's coming back in the next movie, fantastic. And it's a great idea sort of thing. But again, we don't know what else is happening in all this. And like, again, this little thing is just like Jason Momoa being Jason Momoa is saying, cool, I'm back. And that's about it.
I didn't see the Aquaman costume.
They're
New one.
yeah, it looks like it's an all new one. And there's actually one that's like an all black and a bit of silver. Like it might be some sort of motion sort of suit that I think he's wearing at one point. So it could be something, digitally put on him, because they like to do that sort of thing. Robert Downey Jr. wasn't wearing anything close to the Iron Man suit by the end. No.
Oh, yeah, he started off in armor, and then afterwards it was pajamas. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Two guys in pajamas with helmets on.
So the last one we're going to talk about is, again, it was more of an actual bit of a teaser trailer, and it is The Flash. And in this, I think it's probably one of the greatest starts to any of the things that we saw here, because we have a voiceover.
The greatest Batman of all time.
Yeah,
Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, exactly. Is doing the voiceover. And we hear Michael Keaton doing the voiceover at the beginning of this trailer. We are going through like a foggy sort of field. We walk up to a mansion. We are introduced to like a couple of other like characters and all that. It looks like we've got multiple flashes in this. And near the end, we get in silhouette Michael Keaton's Batman cowl. Someone wearing Michael Keaton's Batman cowl. I highly doubt it's going to be Michael Keaton wearing it a lot, but someone is wearing the Batman cowl. Exactly. Whatever you do, don't look up because you'll have to tilt. But again, it's really short.
We see the Flash's new costume.
Flash's new costume. Yeah, we see
one that
Flash's
obviously Bruce Wayne has had wing tech build.
Yep. Yeah.
What
And
do you think about the glowing lights while we're on the costume? Because I don't think the Flash needs the glowing lights.
I think it might be just
they're. If you look at the other scenes, they're not there. I think it's because he's just traveled through time and it's the residual energy.
Yeah,
coming
it's
out.
a built up. It's a built up. It's part of. It's how they're going to show the Speed Force, right? Yeah, the Speed Force, right? Sort of thing. It's his energy to power up that to be able
he's
to
amping up power, grabbing the Speed Force to hit crazy speeds that kicks in, which it's a nice effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
As opposed to having like in the TV show where just lightning goes around them.
Yeah. If it is a light up costume, I'm with you, Michael. That looks like crap, but
it's
I'm
like,
pretty
why
sure
does he need glow sticks attached to him? He doesn't need that. He's the Flash.
No.
He's not.
I'm pretty sure it's just a storing up of power to be able to use the Speed Force to travel through time.
My favorite part of the whole trailer, though, is when he's about to pull the cover off.
Oh my god, that is the best.
And
thing.
it's just the voice. It's just the voiceover of holy. And I'm just like, please be the first movie Batmobile.
It's
the greatest Batmobile.
You look at the
ever.
shape and it's pretty close.
Yeah.
I want to see the big turbine
cut right away. Says snip, done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's again, it's a very small little teaser, but it's probably the funnest one that they had on there just because of that Batmobile.
Yeah, for me, it was Peacemaker and Flash. Like those were the ones that are like, all right.
Yeah.
No, Shazam, I thought looked fun too, but those were the ones that got the geek and me excited.
Because they look like they're going to be the fun ones. Yep. Peacemaker, Shazam, and the Flash look like they're going to be an entertaining one. Again, we don't know enough about Black Adam, but pretty sure it's going to be a half decent movie.
I hope so.
Yeah,
I'm scared about that one, but I hope it's going to be great.
Yeah, I would hope.
If it's great, it's going to be really great.
Yeah. But again, the Batman, I don't think. Anyways,
what next summer?
Next summer,
DC League of Superpets.
Yes, DC League. Ooh, have another drink, Troy. Have another drink. All right, here we go.
They released the trailer as well for it, and it's just the actual what you see is only like 15 seconds.
Right. Yes.
But it's still awesome.
Yeah.
Still
again,
really awesome.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
And Kevin Hart
as Crypto, and Kevin Hart as
Ace.
Is he playing Ace? He's playing Ace, right?
He's
so
playing
yeah,
Ace.
Yeah.
And it's basically the Batman Superman rivalry between the two.
Yeah, which again, and animated, so we know it's going to be interesting. The character design for the two dogs is fantastic. So yeah.
So is that going to be like Jumanji?
As long as they got the same, if they have that same kind of banter back and forth, I am going to happily watch that with the kids.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, the banter because of being Superman's dog and Batman's dog. Yes, definitely for sure. Because Bruce and Clark don't do it to each other's faces, but the pets will.
Oh, the pets are out. Yeah, 100% going to.
The pets will be definitely at each other's throats. Yeah, for sure. So as we're strolling on down this road we call Geeking Off the Page, we're just going to end off with our returning segment of Adam Asks.
Wait, before we get to Adam Asks.
Oh, before we get to Adam Asks, I believe Mike has a question.
Mike Asks to Trevor.
Oh.
You told me you were starting to watch Naruto.
I am.
I want to hear what you think. Like, how far along are you in the series? And what's your first impressions?
I am not very far in the series, just because this week I have been super busy, far busier than I am in a normal week. So I was only able to, I only caught like 4 or 5 episodes And the guide you gave me to avoid filler has been extremely helpful. Oh my god, the first season, like that first season alone, 41% is filler.
Yeah, it starts off actual canon, and then
And then it
once
just
they get through the story, it's like, oh, we want to keep making money, so here's another 100 episodes.
Yeah,
my sense, like,
I'm looking
we can
through
skip
the
these
guide. There's a 70 episode run of nothing but filler. I'm like, thank God I avoid that. So yeah, I'm going to be having that to the side. I will be catching the pertinent episodes and not the filler episodes. But I'm liking what I'm seeing. Unfortunately, it's a lot of characters standing and talking before they do anything, and then there's like brief bits of where they do stuff because that's where the budget goes, and then they go back to talking, or just a slow pan of a background with as characters are talking voiceover.
Yeah, that's anime with the TV budget right there.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that, and I accept that. That's fine. But I'll get through it eventually at some point. Right now, the girls are watching My Hero Academia with Mare, so I'm hoping at some point if I can get far enough into this, when they finish with that, I can drag Josie and perhaps even Ramona into it, and we'll see. We'll go from there. So
the thing that was shocking for me tonight is my oldest daughter, Annika, who's 22 years old now. She says that she wants to binge the entire series because she started watching it with us, and she got so hooked. And we hit some of these emotional parts where, where everybody's like, "Oh my god, I'm crying," and she's like, "Okay, I have to watch the rest of it. I have to binge." So the fact that the whole family's on board, my wife, my daughters, the boys are of course on board because it's targeted towards that, but everybody's on board with this show, and everybody's gathering and bawling their eyes out at the appropriate moments and getting all hyped up. Then if we get to the filler episodes, it's like, skip it. So yeah, the guide is good.
Yeah,
but
again,
those
are going to be helpful.
Powerful show.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to really be able to invest a lot of time into it until well into November, just because between now and the end of October, between birthdays and galas and all this other stuff and Halloween, I don't have a whole lot of free time to rub together. So I'm looking forward to November having, some, even if I could do like a half hour here, a half hour there, and, try to weed my way through it, the 700 plus episodes. I'll get there eventually.
Yeah. So keep us posted on that. And then the second thing I wanted to bring up is the whole Captain Kirk in space. Like, what the hell? William Shatner goes up in Jeff Bezos' spaceship. And I just think that's epic. Was it 90 years old?
90 years old, yeah. Just recently.
To go up in space.
Yep.
But how is that even possible where you're starring on a television series as the captain of the Enterprise? You inspired this huge generation of people to want to go to the stars and being a role model leader, and that show created so much. And then the guy who was spearheading the show as the leading man on it actually goes up into space and gets to experience it. Like, that's a weird life imitating art moment in history. And
well, and also
go ahead.
And also because of it was being put together by Jeff Bezos. I mean, that a good portion of the people working on that project were in the industry that they are because of Star Trek. I mean, there is no doubt about that. So it is definitely a weird world when stuff like that happens. And I mean, it's not like he went up into space. They did orbits around the Earth. He spent like all this time in it. He went up. Yeah.
But it's weightlessness. You got
exactly. Yeah.
You were in the stars. And
to me, it's rich man vanity. It's all these things are. It's just rich man vanity.
That I want some rich man vanity. If I could get some rich man vanity, I would totally shoot myself into space.
There's a thing of like, if you were paid $100 an hour, working 40 hours a week, it would still take you over 1,000 years to make Jeff Bezos's fortune. To me, like, that kind of money is just ridiculous. Like, it's And the thing is then there was like was it Swedish multimillionaire Johan Elias in 2005 purchased 400,000 acres of Amazonian rainforest to protect it, and
that's
rumored
cool.
for $14 million. You know, for the type of money that Bezos is throwing, hit between him and Musk are throwing at these which rich guy can get in space first sort of bullshit. There's so many other things they could be doing with that money that would benefit the planet and not stoke their own goddamn egos.
But still, we got Starfleet, man.
I honestly, that's great for Shatner that he got up there. That's fine, but there's so much more that could be done with the money that they're just pissing up against the wall just because they can. Like really, like there's so. I mean,
although that's part of exploration when you really get down to it. Like I'm down with the idea. You know what? Maybe we should take care of some things first down on the terrestrial plane before we start trying to shoot ourselves into space, right? But at the same time, that's part of humanity. That's
if you want to explore, map all the oceans. We know more
fun, man.
We know more about space than we do about our own planet because we still haven't mapped the oceans. We've mapped more of outer space than we have our own ocean.
But we have James Cameron to do that.
He's busy. He's trying to make more fucking Avatar films.
No, he's down in the ocean.
Yeah, he's making more fucking Avatar. Is it what, that 5 that they've got on the slate? They want to do 5 by the time.
He's building submarines and.
But it just I look at this when you've got that much money. Take care of home first before you go running off to. I mean, if you want to go colonize Mars, we don't have the technology to actually colonize Mars. We could get there, but wouldn't be able to breathe. What's the point? You know.
But don't you think it's cool that William Shatner got?
It's cool, but when you look at the
so cool.
how much it's cost to get to that point, I don't think it's worth it. Really don't think it's worth it. If you really want him to experience weightlessness, just take him up in the 747 Vomit Comet, give him like 10 minutes of weightlessness and bring his ass back down. There you go.
I love it when Trevor's more of a downer than me. This is great.
I just look at this when you look at how much Bezos has spent, how much Musk has spent, doing this rich man space race.
Yeah, but they got the money. We buy bobbleheads, they buy rockets. It's all relative.
Not even close. Not even. Well, just like that whole thing of, when the pandemic hit and the quarantine and people are like, oh man, I'm stuck in my home. Well, there's the difference being stuck in a one room, apartment, not going anywhere, and being stuck in like a 26 room mansion. There's a difference. We're all in the same boat, yes, but some of us are in rowboats and others are in goddamn cruise ships. There's a difference.
Some of us are making rockets to space.
Yeah. Some of us are making giant phallic rockets to fly into space with.
I love how it looked like a weird space ball.
It's a giant penis. It is 100% a giant fucking penis. It's Bezos just firing his dick into space.
I love it.
Pure white, he's just shooting a load into space.
Yeah. And my anarchist conspiracy mind would have a lot of other things to say about Bezos, but it's so cool that Shatner got to space. That's just neat. I
mean, I said I'm fine with him getting to space. That's great. That's great for him. But I just look at the money involved and like there's so much more that could have been done with that.
I'm just thinking, how do I make that much money?
That's just it.
Maybe this podcast. If you'd like to make a donation and buy us a coffee or a rocket to space, please donate.
Yeah.
All right. So that being said, we're going to go on to our final thing of the evening of the episode is going to be our Adam Asks segment. And this time, Adam asks, with What If coming to an end and the Flash trailer dropping, I asked the Council of Average Size Junk, are multiverses necessary? With multiverses and alternate timelines will they become the new zombies or vampires? With mainstream broadcast TV shows like Regular Joe actively exploring paths not taken, and the two major comic book film properties going multiverse, is it a natural evolution of complex storytelling across media and time, or is it just lazy writing? The X-Men films actively ignored continuity with much care, and Doctor Who has been broadcasting for the better part of 60 years, and the only nod to changing events is wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. So what do you guys think about that? Is the multiverse really necessary? And I'm just going to come out and say that I'm not sure if it's actually necessary, but it is nice to see that some companies are so far doing pretty good with it. Marvel is looking like they're building a whole entire phase around the multiverse. I mean, with WandaVision and Loki, and now upcoming the new Spider-Man movie, and we've got Doctor Strange after that, it looks like we're going to be on a well manicured ride to be able to experience what a multiverse is. DC, on the other hand, has, as we've said in the past, they've faltered. They've tried to tie together a universe and then had to rewrite a universe and then had to rewrite a universe, and nothing comes together. And they put out Project A and Project B and have nothing to do with each other, but then try and figure out a way to tie it all together. And unfortunately, I don't believe it's working very well. The idea of this Average Joe show seems to be an interesting prospect, but I don't know how much legs it has under it. I mean, I not having seen any episodes at all of it. I think it's only just started airing just recently, but it doesn't, I can't see how it is. Does he experience the same couple of days in a row, just taking a different path? Like is it going to be friggin' Nicolas Cage and The Knowing, and then you just backtrack to, let's follow this path line. Nope, let's backtrack to here. Let's follow this path line. No, let's backtrack to here, sort of thing. But I mean, the multiverse, if it's handled properly, and I'm pretty sure you guys would agree, if it's handled properly, it is a great storytelling device. If it's not handled properly, it is the worst crutch ever. Right?
I think that's a good summary.
Yeah,
so.
You think so? Yeah. I mean, I am looking forward to the multiverse for Marvel. There's no doubt about that. There's information coming out that it's right now, it's speculation, rumor about the Netflix Marvel characters, or at least a couple of them are coming back to the fold of the Marvel universe. And there is a good chance that one of the ways they may be introduced is through a multiverse sort of storyline, where it's going to be like Jonathan Petrol and Charlie Cox and Kristen Ritter, who are in talks with Marvel to come back as the characters, but there's a chance that they may not have any connection to the Netflix characters, but their characters will eventually come in. So there's a good sort of thing. So if that is where things are going, I welcome that sort of thing, especially those characters of Punisher and Jessica Jones and Daredevil. I mean, again, still there's no 100% on whether or not Charlie Cox is going to be in the new Spider-Man movie, but you never know, sort of thing. I mean, with the multiverse opening up, it could be at the end, because the multiverse is open up now, Charlie Cox can come into because technically he'd be coming into the Sony Marvel universe, because technically this is the last Marvel Studios, Sony Marvel Spider-Man, I think, if I remember reading whatever reports properly or watching. What was that?
Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
See, this is why multiverse is the problem.
Exactly.
Lawyers, damn it.
My personal opinion is, if you're going to
No, Trevor, you're not allowed to use your own personal opinion.
No.
Oh, yes, yes.
No, you have to use Kevin's.
I
You have
checked
to
with my
use
wife.
Kevin's.
I'm allowed to use my opinions for today.
Okay, all right.
Yes, she let me. No, I think if you're going to use the multiverse as a plot tool, you embrace it fully, and you use it thoughtfully in a way to, combine, like in this case where you've got Sony owns some rights and Marvel, and you got different aspects, and you want to kind of bring them together in some fashion using the multiverse in a thoughtful manner. As long, if you're like, we're doing multiverse, and everyone's like, all right, fuck it, fine, we're doing multiverse. Everyone's embracing it. This is what we're doing. But if you've got like one or two, like, hey, there's a multiverse, and no one else even talks about it or acknowledges it anyway, then that's lazy writing. Then you're just like, I have no way of bringing these together. Fuck it, multiverse. Then yeah, that's lazy writing. But I think with Marvel and Disney and now even Sony, with them embracing it and saying, this is what we're doing. This is how this is the way we're going to make it work. That's great. If this is how you're going to do it, that's great. If you're going to make a TV show about, guy who keeps jumping universes and making himself the ideal life. I mean, there's been movies where, what was the movie? About Time, where a kid realizes his dad tells him he can travel back in time and change his past to change his future to have a more ideal life, which was a really fun movie. I watched it recently. They decided their way of doing it was time travel. Okay. Marvel's decided we're going to do multiverse. They've done it in the comic books. It's not like it's something that they're just pulling it out of their ass. This has been well established in the Marvel comic book universe. They're just like, this is the plot device we're using. I don't feel it's lazy writing. If it only happened in one movie to try to explain a narrative and it was never talked about again, then that's 100% lazy writing.
Yeah.
But this is something that I think the entire MCU has said, this is where we're going. This is how we're getting there. Everyone's on board with it. Then, use it. Now, if they overuse it, that'll be a problem. But it doesn't feel like that's the case. If they're going to be bringing in over the Netflix characters and saying, this is how we're introducing them, all the more power to you. If they grab Wesley Snipes and throw him in the Blade movie, all the more power to you. If they somehow multiverse that in there too. Might be a bit much.
Just a bit.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Now, with DC kind of doing like a Flashpoint with Flash, where he's going to have multiple Flashes, multiple Batmen, yada, yada, yada. Have they really explored this before this? The closest would be the Flash telling Bruce Wayne in Batman versus Superman, that little, event.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's the only inkling they've had of time travel or anything like that. And that felt more like it was supposed to be time travel and not dimension hopping or multiverse hopping. But now it looks like they're like, hey, Marvel's getting into the multiverse. Fuck it, let's get there too. So again, this is why the DC animated universe need to take the reins of the live action universe, say, all right, screw it. We're going to tell you how to tell stories, and we're going to tell good ones. We're not just going to copy everything Marvel does because we want to make Marvel money.
Yeah, because DC has a way to get their hands on the proper actors. They just need the proper writers to be able to pull off anything.
Exactly.
But,
writers and directors, and most importantly, producers who will let the writers and actors do their job and not micromanage.
Yeah. What do you say there, Michael?
In answer to most of Adam's questions, yes. Okay, so are they necessary? If you want to create a cinematic universe where things have been scattered, in the case of X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the Netflix, okay, there is some sort of weird multiverse, timey-wimey kind of stuff that you need to do in order to bring that stuff together. And we've seen that stuff in comic books all throughout our comic book history, like Crisis on Infinite Earths, things like that. There is some justification to creating this, to bring all these concepts together, where you can keep the old movies, keep the history, and create some sort of reason why everything's coming together now. And I think the multiverse, in the case of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is a great idea. Especially because like the Infinity Stones were basically the MacGuffin in the whole first, phase 4? Is that what we're at now?
Yeah.
To bring everything together. No, you start off with just a billionaire making robot toys. And now we've got everything. We've got aliens, we've got magic, all this kind of stuff. But now where do we go from here? The multiverse is a great excuse. And with Loki, through great writing, we were able to create a reason where we can start seeing all this stuff get pulled. And also, where can we get like new superheroes? Where can we get new characters that weren't around? In this case, I think it's really smart. Where things are going in the DC universe is kind of strange, and DC's always been a little bit more clunky at pulling these kind of events together. But it's kind of strange that we're getting a new Batman movie and then we're getting a Flash movie with a different Batman. It's kind of weird that we have something awesome like Suicide Squad happening where like, okay, you could build a universe around this, but then you're having all these extra things happening that don't really coalesce with that storytelling. And it can work, right? If every movie is a good movie, then you don't need to bring it all together. Like the Joker movie, like I don't know where the hell that fits with Suicide Squad. It doesn't make any sense. Do we need a multiverse to make them gel? I don't think so. It's like, just let that movie stand, let the other movies stand, and whatever, be done with it. And that's one thing that DC Comics was always really good at doing, is the weird Elseworld stories, where it's like, you know what, this is just a graphic novel, it's a one shot. It's like, you know, Gotham by Gaslight, done. It's its own thing. You know, Superman, Red Sun, done. Like, you don't need a big event to bring all this stuff together. Now, is it going to be the next, what did he say, zombies or vampires? If Marvel makes a lot of money, then yes.
Yes,
like,
it will be. You're right.
Be trying to copy it all over the place. It's like, this is how we bring it all together. Yeah, Luke Skywalker is now part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What? Yeah, multiverse, man. Like, they could do that. You know, Kingdom of Hearts. Kingdom of Hearts is now in the Marvel Universe. Yeah.
Keyblades everywhere.
Yeah. You know, Kermit the Frog.
You know, come on. Actual Muppets in the Marvel Universe? That would be fantastic.
Multiverse, baby.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever watch 30 Rock? That was one of my favorite episodes, was the Muppet episode.
Yes, yes.
Just the way kind of saw everybody as Muppets. That was great. What am I missing? Yeah, so then as far as I guess the events change, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey kind of stuff. It's like, okay, if you need to bring things together, fine, you know, you can do it like that. I think about Cerebus and the way Dave Sim handled that, because you know, he's just doing his monthly comic book and he's just jamming with other artists. So he had all sorts of crazy crossovers with different characters, and he was just doing it for fun. Like, there's no reason those, like Flaming Carrot on the Moon with Cerebus, it's just strange. Like, no, because he's just jamming with a comic book friend. Or there's a whole episode in Guys where he's just teaming up with all sorts of independent artists. And in Cerebus Jam, even teaming up with the Spirit. Then, yeah, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, I mean, Cerebus showed up in
Right, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
Right?
Yeah.
So you do that kind of stuff just because it's fun. Then afterwards, you have a fan base. It's like, oh, where exactly did this happen in the timeline? It's like, ah, crap. Okay. I guess that would have happened around here. And then you kind of timey-wimey it so that it all makes sense. And I'm fine with that, right? Because the main thing is you want an entertaining story. You want to, you know, I guess be authentic to yourself in the moment, right? If I'm doing a crossover with somebody else, okay, you do that because it's fun and that's the story you want to tell. And then you can kind of rejig it to fit into the continuity. I mean, hell, they did that with the Bible, with the canon and non-canon, right? So, yeah, I think it's okay to do it. But like Trevor said, you have to do it intelligently if you're going to do it. I think that answered the question.
Yeah, no, that pretty much covered it all. Yeah. We are, yeah. So I believe that is a pretty good place to wrap everything up. I want to thank everyone for actually sticking with us and all that. Well, we didn't talk about anything other than all the trailers, but there was quite a bit for us to cover. And you know what? We've been
I'm surprised we lasted this long. I thought this is going to be like an hour episode. It's like 2.5 hours. What the?
I'm sure when Gavin comes back, there'll be a whole bunch of more stuff.
Exactly. So we'll be back all next week. Same bat time, same Spider channel. And we'll be on the count of 3. We'll give us our old collective goodbye with the 3 of us. Right?
Sure.
There's three Caballeros, right? What? Left. Yes, there's three of us left. Yes. All right. And on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Collective
goodbye.
All right. Then. Good night, everybody.
We harmonize better without Gavin. What's up
Yeah,
with that?
we do, actually. Yeah. He might be the one holding us back.
Gavin!
Kevin!
You have just been listening to Geeking Off the Page with your hosts, Mike Kitchen, Gavin Burbage, Trevor Brown, and Troy Bowman. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Also, if you could leave us a rating and comment, that would assist in allowing others to find this podcast more easily. You can follow the podcast on the following social platforms: Instagram and Twitter, search for @PlanetGeekPod, all one word. On Facebook, search for Planet Geek Productions. Or you can send us an email to planetgeekpod@gmail.com. Buy the guys a coffee by going to Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/planetgeekpod. And know that any and all donations will go towards improving all current and future Planet Geek Productions programs. Thank you for listening.
Okay, let's start going, I guess. Nope, that's not the button I wanted. Where the hell did it
Who
go?
starts? Do I start?
Yeah, you would start. Yeah, it's the regular routine. We just don't have a Gavin this time. Yes, Michael, you would start.
Oh, we're doing that now.
Yeah. Well, we might as well now. I mean, if you want us to sit around and stare at a screen for another 10, 15 minutes, and then we can start doing it. But
We did that the other week.
you
All right, here we go.
I'm a master of fright and a demon of light, and I'll scare you right out of your pants. To a guy in Kentucky, I'm Mr. Unlucky, and I've known her throughout England and France. And since I am dead, I can take off my head and recite Shakespearean quotations. No animal, no man can scream like I can with the fury of my recitation.